It is an excellent day to just show up. Hi, everyone. Yvonne Heath here, nurse turned author, speaker, and changemaker, and your host. Welcome to Navigating Grief with Heart and Humor, where we talk about, plan, and prepare for grief, transitions, end of life, and all the messiness in between, long before it arrives, and diffuse the fear so we can live fully now. Most of the time, we have been in the deep trenches of grief, transitions, end of life, divorce, diagnosis, whatever it may be, and we realized how ill prepared we were, and we want to do it differently. We are choosing to empower ourselves, learn, unlearn, and evolve so that we can be the very best version of ourselves, flawed, messy, and imperfect. And teaching that by example. This is the greatest gift that we can give ourselves and each other. And along the way, we do not have to do it alone. We can support one another, learn from one another, and share our stories. Because I believe that is the greatest way we heal ourselves and each other. So let's get started. As always, I want to share a fun fact because it is already serious enough. And sometimes I'm an oversharer, or I share things that maybe you're thinking, oh, well, I don't know why she shared that. Well, that's just part of my weird quirkiness. So I just love, I'm sharing that I want to brighten things up a little in my life right now. And that's actually what we're going to be speaking about today. So I thought, what can I do in here just to create a small change? And so I took my love, which also has the peace sign in it, if you can see, and I spray painted it red. I just wanted it to pop more, and I wanted to just really add a little splash of color, more color to my background, because I am all about the color. If you love beige, great, but we don't have to get beige. You know, I've heard these people say at a certain age, you shouldn't wear certain colors, or you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that. I say, no, thank you. I am going to get brighter and more vibrant with every decade, because that's what I want to do. That's what feeds my heart and soul. And so I have my vibrant love there, and I love it. It just pops out and it fills my heart with joy. So there you go. There's my little fun fact for the day. And yeah, so let's get started. And as always, I'm going to take 2 slow, deep breaths, inhaling through my nose, exhaling through my mouth. This is the ritual I've created to help me ground myself, be fully present with you here today. Forget about the noise on the other side of that door, as we all have a lot of moving pieces in our puzzle of life. And for right now, I am choosing to be present with you and very intentional. I want to set an intention about what I need to learn today, what I would like to share. And I invite you to do the same, whether it's 2 slow, deep breaths, very intentional and grounding, or whatever works for you, lighting a candle, just meditating for 5 minutes, just something. We don't need a lot of time to change our energy and be fully present. So I invite you to join me, or do whatever ritual you have chosen to do to be fully present, and set an intention for our time together. So I'm going to just close my eyes, and feel free to do so if you choose. And I inhale slowly through my nose, and slowly exhale through my mouth. Just helps to quiet the noise. And I feel absolutely present here with you in this moment. So as we talk about all things grief, life, transitions, end of life, and everything in between, it's so interesting how I've sort of taken the blinders off even more. And I'm very intentional. I'm even more intentional than ever about paying attention to what is affecting me. And I have come to realize I'm a highly sensitive person, which is a gift, and you also have to understand how to manage it, which I will talk about in another episode. But for today, I realize that we talk about grief being a part of this journey. It is our mental, physical, and our emotional reactions to loss, transitions, change can be experienced in literally anything that makes our heart ache, or there is grief and joy in all transitions that are even positive, whether you are getting married, having a baby, going to school, whatever it may be. Anytime that we are saying goodbye to our old lives, as life changed, life as we knew it, our familiarity, our circle, our comfort, we grieve that change. And I know it's often confusing for people because they think, oh my goodness, I'm making this big move, and I'm feeling all of these hard feelings, and I feel unsure, and I'm grieving, and I'm crying, and I'm sad, and I'm happy, and I'm sappy, and all of it. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we normalize these conversations with our children at home, school, everywhere in our communities? Like, yes, with every change, you're saying goodbye to something else. With everything that closes, another door opens, and there's a new beginning, and it's unfamiliar. And so even when transitions are good, even when you're leaving a dysfunctional relationship, suddenly, yes, it is the right move. And yet you think, why am I grieving? You're still grieving change and the uncertainty of what is ahead. And also, even when relationships are not healthy, I've been in many of those, are dysfunctional, oh yes, it's familiar, and we crave comfort and familiarity. And so if we can acknowledge and allow those feelings, all feelings in all transitions, and not pretend, oh, I should be happy at this moment, I'm finally free, I'm finally doing this. It's like, yes, and I'm also sad. And I will be mentioning this a lot because it is my lived experience as I'm sharing that our 18-year-old twins, 18, wow, Jaden and Tanner, are preparing to move away to go to university in a few months, and waves of grief and joy, grief and joy, grief and joy. Hot mess, very happy, hot mess. And I'm laughing. I'm allowing all feelings as they come up. And, you don't always want to feel those hard feelings. The more we ignore them, the more they stick around. So what I'm noticing today as I'm moving forward and being more observant and taking off the blinders is the grief and joy in the seasons. In the seasons. We live in Canada, and so of course we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. Even if you live somewhere that you don't have snow and a dramatic change of seasons, I mean, there's still changes in the seasons still change. There's still there's school, and then there's summer break, and then there's Mars retrograde, and all of the things that we feel, and solstice. There's changes and evolve. Nature is continuously evolving, and the seasons. And all around us in nature, there is a continuous cycle of grief and death, right? Beautiful flowers bloom and then they die. Trees live, and then all their leaves fall. And I think sometimes we underestimate the effect of these, even if we don't have what they call seasonal affective disorder, where, it's actually just this medical condition and you really have to pay attention, it still affects us. And I realized that I shared before, we had this tremendous snowstorm. People were snowed in. They had no hydro. There was 4 to 6 feet of snow. Now, for all you, Californians and those who live down south, can you even just imagine? You haven't even seen snow. Can you imagine 4 to 6 feet of snow? I mean, we couldn't leave our homes. Remember my mom saying she opened her door and there was 3 feet of snow. She couldn't even get out of her apartment. And so those are the more drastic examples of grief in the seasons. And yet there's still, that anticipation. It's like anticipation of a season, and then the excitement in the season, and then the decline, depending on what season you love. And what I do invite people to consider is to allow and accept every season in nature, every season of your life, and know that everything is temporary. Everything is a cycle. And I often hear people say, oh, I don't even like to say the word. I promised my friend Eva Olson, who is a Holocaust survivor and so much more, she wants to eradicate the word hate. So I will not use that word. I invite you to eliminate it from your vocabulary. It is one of the most destructive word there is. So I hear many people say that, oh, I absolutely do not like, despise, loathe, whatever, winter. And here we are living in a country where winter is months and months and months and months. And so we have a choice, don't we? We have a choice to reframe that. We have a choice to say, well, then why don't you move? Oh, I can't move. Well, this is where I'm from. Okay. So what can you do to change that perspective? And so the first thing I invite anyone to do is be proactive. Be proactive. We know the seasons are coming, the seasons of life, the changes, school, whatever it may be. Let's talk about plan and prepare. Let's try to reframe. Okay, this is the season that I don't love. In the past, let's start with in the past. I've not loved and embraced this season. So what can I do to change that? So I'll give you my example. So for me, and it's funny because many people here in Muskoka, summer is their very favorite season. They love it. We have hundreds and hundreds of, maybe thousands of lakes around here. We have hiking, we have cottages. This is cottage country. People come from all around the world to come to Muskoka and to cottage and to go to Algonquin Park, and everyone is so, there's that anticipation, that excitement of summer. Now, summer is 2 months for the most part. Sometimes it's a little longer. I mean, as far as like the children that are out of school and vacation, etc., it is for the most part July and August. And what do I hear at the end of that? Oh, summer flew by. It was so quick. Oh, I can't believe it's over. Oh gosh, there were so many more things I wanted to do. And people try to jam everything in. Summer is 2 months. A year is 12 months. Isn't it sad to just live for summer and that's it? I mean, really. So the way to embrace the seasons, so for me, it's interesting because summer, to me, it's very hectic and chaotic here in Muskoka, or in the past, that's what I called it. How about it's busier and wonderful. And so I have to stay in a place where it's like, okay, when it's too busy and I don't jam everything in, when it's too busy, I will just take time and go for a walk on my own. When it's too hot, I will just be inside because I don't like extreme temperatures. Let me tell you, once you go through menopause, and with every decade, I am less and less tolerant to extreme temperatures. So if summer is your favorite, wonderful. And perhaps you could find ways to, yes, at the end of the season, acknowledge and allow those feelings. Oh, I really love summer. And be okay with the end of the season and learn to embrace and enjoy the other seasons. To me, fall is the greatest season in the world. We see the leaves changing vibrant colors, orange, red, yellow. It's extraordinary. The weather is perfect. You just need a sweater. And P.S., whether it's raining or not, we cannot control Mother Nature. So if it's raining, get an umbrella and embrace it. Okay, today's raining. And the fall, I mean, it's beautiful. I love the fall, and it's extraordinary, and it's a few months. And then for me, I know at the end of fall, when all the leaves are turning brown and falling to the ground, and all my beautiful flowers are dying and everything is changing, I know that I have to be more intentional about embracing that time, because I know that winter's coming. And I have one of the things, I have a condition called Raynaud's, where my fingers and my toes get so cold. And so in the past, I've really stressed, winter's coming and it's so long and it's so challenging. And now it's like, okay, I have loved the summer and I have loved the fall. And yes, I am feeling this sadness that is over. And, you know, the cycles and circle of life that we observe in the seasons, you feel that. You feel that. Animals, babies are born and then they, you know, then they leave. And again, with all of the everything in nature, how it changes. And remember, it's temporary and it will be back again. And so now I know that I will grieve the end of my beautiful blooms and everything. And instead of dreading winter, as many of us do, I embrace it. And I say, okay, I'm going to be well prepared for winter. My beautiful husband, Jordy, bought me heated mitts. He bought me heated mitts so that I can go outside. And I dress warm. And I make sure that I really observe the beautiful days when the snow is glistening, when the sun is shining, then the moon, and also when it is challenging to get outside, I brighten up my inside, my house, and I play music and I do things that will warm my heart and soul and feed my heart and soul. And so the seasons are beautiful opportunities to learn how to navigate grief and joy, and to be very intentional about bringing in more joy. Remember, grief and joy can coexist. And so when we come to spring, and I've also heard a lot of people say, oh, spring, oh, it is so brown. Everything's brown because the blooms aren't out yet and the flowers aren't open. And oh, it's just so brown. I love spring. It's like everything is melting. And then there's a big snowstorm and then it's melting. And then through the snow and everything, you see like one little sprig of green. Oh my gosh, it's coming. It's coming. It's changing. And the snow is melting. And the days are getting longer. And I know what's coming and it's so exciting. I don't say, oh, I'm going to have so much yard work. I get to do this yard work and I get to. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we reframed instead of I have to, I get to. I get to live in an area where there's change of seasons. I get to navigate the grief and joy of these transitions. I know that it's all temporary. I get to be so excited watching these blooms that are coming. They're coming. I know they are. And every year I plant something, and it's a perennial. Let me tell you, I am not ever, ever planting things that are not perennials. That is far too much work. But I invite you to embrace the seasons. I invite you to see the beauty and allow the grief and the joy. I wear brighter colored shirts. I make sure that I do 3 things, and I invite you to do the same. Number 1, I get outside. I get outside no matter what, several times a week. Even if it's for 10 minutes in a day, I make sure to get fresh air. And I take the blinders off, and I notice all the good, and I bring gratitude with me wherever I go. Number 2, I embrace all aspects of the seasons. And again, whether your season is, this is the school season, this is the football season, this is the, I get to play volleyball and now it's over. Yes, there's grief and joy in all of it. Embrace all of it. And number 3, I check in mentally, physically, emotionally. I keep checking in. Say, okay, how am I feeling? Just a little, I can't put my finger on it, but I'm just, a little blah. And so what do? I wear a brighter shirt. I spray paint my love sign red. I wear brighter makeup. I have more stuffed animals and toys around, and magic rocks and salt lamps and lights. And I play music and I dance. Whether I'm alone or with somebody else, I am dancing in my house and singing. Because these are the things that we can do for ourselves. We don't need anyone else to fill our happiness bucket. We don't need the seasons to be perfect. We know that with every season, there is an end to it, and a beginning and an end. And grief and joy will be a part of all of it. And if we can acknowledge and allow these feelings and that roller coaster as we navigate this journey we call life, we can embrace all the seasons of our lives and create more joy along the way. I just love having these conversations, and I'm going to go and, I don't know, I think I might take my can of spray paint and create more red stuff all around my house. It's just that color that I just love. It's just like hearts. I might put more hearts everywhere. So thank you for joining me. I would love to hear how you have felt about the seasons in the past, what you've struggled with, and now what you're going to do differently. And I invite you to go to my website, Love Your Life to Death. There's many beautiful resources there. We always have a choice, right? And to continue to learn, unlearn, and evolve and do things differently next time is always a choice we get to make. Clean slate every day. And my call to action to you, as always, if you want to embrace all the seasons of your life and bring in more joy as we navigate grief, plan your life, plan your death, and then just love your life to death. And always bring your own tambourine to the party. Thank you so much. I love you. Happy, happy, happy seasons. Bye for now.